Hello, all you pro wrestling marks and proud. Welcome to Calling Spots with Bryan Kelly. That's me, Bryan Kelly. And today we're going to do a recap of SmackDown from Kansas City from February 6th, 2018. We start off the show with a kind of a, not really a promo, but a little graphic that shows that Kevin and Sammy are going to be battling it out later to see who goes on to face AJ Styles at Fastlane for the WWE Championship. And then no fanfare, no anything. We just get Shane in the ring. Money, 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 money. Dollar, dollars, dollar, dollars. He's just standing there with the mic, you know, doing his little thing, waiting for the music to stop. And he says, you know, I think it sucks that these two guys are still getting a title shot. I'm paraphrasing, of course. All of this I'm paraphrasing. But there's one person who doesn't think that it sucks that these guys are getting another title shot, and that's Daniel Bryan. And Daniel Bryan's music hits, and Daniel comes out to the ring. And Shane continues and says, you know, we listen to the fans here at SmackDown Live. That's what this is about, is the land of opportunity. And as he's saying this and saying, we listen to the fans start chanting Rusev Day, Rusev Day, Rusev Day. And they have to stop. They have to acknowledge it. If they don't acknowledge it, it would look really weird. So Shane stops, and they both kind of look around, and Daniel Bryan kind of looks around, and Shane goes, duly noted. And the crowd pops, whatever duly noted means. And he says, we listen to the fans, but Daniel, I don't think you're listening to the fans by giving these guys title shot after title shot after title shot. And Daniel responds by saying, hey, man, the ref got it wrong by counting out the wrong guy, by, you know, having the pin fall on the wrong guy who wasn't tagged into the match at Royal Rumble. And I'm just trying to fix it and make things right. As a matter of fact, I thought you'd give me a raise. And then he says, and I hope that's duly noted as well, which was cute. He's like, why? And then Shane's like, why do you keep giving these guys opportunities? And then he goes, you know what? I think I figured out why you keep giving these guys opportunities. He goes, you had a similar path to what these guys had. Ring of Honor. He didn't say Ring of Honor. I don't think he did. Ring of Honor, the Indies, coming up through NXT, blah, 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 blah. And more than anything else in the world, you want to be in this ring wrestling. And he goes, you're living vicariously through Sammy and Kevin. Whoa. And the crowd, you know, kind of, whoa. And as soon as he says that, AJ's music hits, and AJ comes out to the ring. Championship belt, looking 100 as usual. And he said, since the beginning of this year, and this is only February 6th, mind you, I've traveled over 10,000 miles defending this championship. Whether or not that's true, I don't know. But it sounds about right from going, you know, all the foreign trips that they do to India and to, I think they were just in Japan again. I'm not sure. And he says, and I can stand the travel. I can stand the canceled flights and the hotels and being away from my family and all of that. What I can't handle is the management of SmackDown Live bickering like a bunch of kids over these two guys and being obsessed. That's what he said, being obsessed with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. He said, you guys need to work this shit out. He goes, tonight in my match, just stay out of my way and let me take care of this because I want a winner. And then he takes off. So we cut to New Day backstage, and they're answering tweets all night, I guess, because they're all sitting on their phones and various devices. And Big E says, like he's reading a tweet, he goes, does Corey Graves have a better jab or left hook? Which was a complete and utter reference to Booker saying he wanted to beat up Corey Graves if he sees him in the street. So, and he references it again later on, but that was really funny. And they just kind of do their, you know, New Day thing. It was pretty funny. I'm trying a different camera angle here. Usually I'm on the other side, but I'm trying something different to see how this works out with the lighting and stuff until I get some actual recording equipment. But anyways, okay, so we go to commercial after we get done with the New Day backstage answering tweets and stuff. And when we come back from the commercial, we have the Riot Squad coming out because Charlotte's going to take on Liv Morgan, apparently. So the Riot Squad's coming out, and we get a video package of last week the Riot Squad jumping Charlotte Flair in the ring and beating the crap out of Charlotte, which I guess is what's leading to this match. And then Shar comes out and she looks awesome as usual. Championship, looking 100. Charlotte and Liv Morgan. Mike Chioda was your referee. Mike Chioda did a lot of work tonight. He was even on 205 Live doing work, and I think he did the mixed match challenge as well. But Charlotte goes right after Liv. And as soon as they start battling, we get the commercial with the picture-in-picture where it goes up small. And you can't. I wish you could just hear the audio. That's the only thing I don't like about that. But anyways, Charlotte really carried Liv through this match. Liv didn't look great. She's looked great in the past. I have nothing against her. I wish her all the best and hope she gets better and better and better. But for some reason, she just didn't click with Charlotte this match, and Charlotte really carried her in this match, and Liv did not look good, especially compared to Charlotte. Charlotte gets the figure 8 for the win. No real outside interference that I can recall. Oh, yeah, I think the ref kicks them out at one point. No, I would have written that down. No, they were all still there. Yeah, no. Liv looked really green, especially next to Charlotte. Charlotte gets the figure 8 and the win. And then Charlotte climbs out of the ring and walks over to the commentators and says, 1 down, 2 to go. So I guess she's going to take on the rest of the Riot Squad in the coming weeks, which would be good. I like Charlotte and I like those guys, so I'm looking forward to seeing that. We get a commercial, and then when we come back from the commercial, we get Renee standing outside of Kevin Owens' dressing room, and starts to talk about their match tonight. And then Kevin interrupts by coming in and says, do you think your friendship can survive tonight's match? And he says, I don't know, why don't you ask Sammy if he can survive being beaten by me? Yeah, it was pretty cool. I like the tension that Renee and Kevin have on camera, because he was going after Dean for a while, so he threw her into that a lot. And so anytime they interact, there's always this little bit of tension between them, and I think it's fantastic. So after that, we go back out to the ring, and we get the Bludgeon Brothers coming out to the ring. I'm not sure what's up with the Bludgeon Brothers yet, but I think we're going to find out very soon, because I want to see them in an actual, long 20-minute match instead of these little squishes that they've been having lately. I think I put my nose away a little too soon on that. Yeah, I did. So the Bludgeon Brothers come out and squash these 2 jobbers who they didn't even give names to, and it was nothing to speak of. It was literally 3 moves, and that was the end of the match. So the Bludgeon Brothers beat those guys up. I didn't even get who the referee was. It might have been Ryan Tran. I'm not sure. But anyways, as they jump down onto the apron and start to head towards the ramp, the Usos music hits, and the Usos start walking out, and everybody's kind of eyeballing each other, and then the Usos just kind of walk around the Bludgeon Brothers. The Bludgeon Brothers grab their little hammers, not little hammers, but those hammers, and just walk to the back, kind of previewing, hey, we're coming. So we go to a commercial, and when we get back from a commercial, we have the Usos in ring doing a killer promo. The reason I don't write down a lot of promos is because me saying a lot of the lines here doesn't come off as good, and especially when it comes to the Usos promos. Those guys are so good, and they play off each other so well that I'm not going to do it justice. But he talks about, we went from paint to this, we went from colors to black and white, we went from they're all right to match of the night. That was a cool line. They did a really good job. They said our Uso penitentiary is a state of mind. You eat when we say you eat. Shit like that. It was really cool. They're awesome. They might be the best tag team promo in the business that I can find. There's nobody that does tag team promos back and forth like those guys do. Nobody. They're incredible. I love them. So after we get those guys, their music hits and they run to the back or walk to the back. And we get Daniel Bryan revealing the, as voted on by the locker room, as voted on by the roster of SmackDown Live, the reveal of the top 10 superstars, top 10 workers in SmackDown Live. I don't know what this is. I don't know whose I hope it all makes sense at some point, but they haven't really explained what this is supposed to be. It's supposed to help them with matches, I guess. Daniel Bryan at one point said it's supposed to help them build matches and give opportunities to the people that the roster sees as worthy. I'm really not sure, but anyways, he revealed the top 10, and the top 10 goes like this. Can you guess who's number 10? That's right, Ty Dillinger. Number 9 was Randy Carl Orton. I don't think that's his middle name. It's Randy Kevin Orton. Randy Kyle. Randy Kevin. I don't know. Randy Orton. Number 8 was Becky Lynch. Number 7 was the Usos. Number 6 was the New Day, which is, they have a little promo later about me in number 6 that's really funny. Number 5 is the United States Champion Bob Roode. I love when Aiden English and Rusev call Bobby Roode Bob Roode. It's hilarious. Number 4 was Naomi. Number 3 was Shinsuke Nakamura. Number 2 was the women's champion Charlotte Flair. And number 1 was, of course, AJ Styles. I don't know what these are supposed, because as soon as they showed AJ's face and counted it down, the crowd was really quiet through this too. As they counted everybody down, small little pops here and there, but nothing really to speak of. And then when it ended and they just showed AJ's picture on the Titantron as the number 1, a little bit of a pop. And then that was pretty much it. And then they just cut to the commentary, and then Corey Graves, Byron, and Michael? No, it's not Michael. It's Corey Graves, Byron, and whoever the hell else it is. I can't remember right now. Might be Michael. Jesus, I can't remember. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. They cut to them and have them start talking about the top 10 list and what it means and who's not on the list. How is Sammy and Kevin not on the list and all this kind of stuff. And then we go back to the backstage where New Day's upset that they were 6th place. Pause. So that's it? I don't know what that was supposed to be. I hope it turns into something, but I don't know what it's supposed to be. So we go to New Day, and they're upset that they're 6th place. And Big E, again, digging at Corey Graves, goes, "That's the percentage I give Corey Graves in a street fight." 6%. That was hilarious. They're like, it's okay. We'll still beat him. We get a Aiden English Rusev Gym promo where Aiden's talking into the cell phone, and Rusev is behind him lifting weights. And he goes, Bob Roode. It was really great because tonight Rusev and Bobby Roode are going to face off for the U.S. Championship. So that was a really good promo. I like the backstage cell phone stuff. I like the graphics they're throwing across the screen. I like it. I think it's great. We get a commercial from there. And then all of a sudden, Aiden English isn't in the gym anymore. He's in the ring. And he's in the ring, and he sings a song that was obviously pre-written because they have the words dancing across the screen and a bouncing Rusev head on the words. I'm going to say that one more time. They have words going across the bottom of the screen and then Rusev's head bouncing along as Aiden sings. I don't know if I liked that, but sure. People are entertained by it. Rusev doesn't care. Fine. That leads into Rusev coming out in his entrance. And Rusev looks amazing. I swear he's lost some weight. He's toned up. He doesn't look as, I wouldn't say out of shape. He was never out of shape, but he just looks more toned. It looks like his muscles have more definition. It looks like his stomach has more definition. So he must be using a lot of this time off of not being in the title picture to work out. So, and then we get Bob Roode's entrance. I'm going to call him that forever now. And it was glorious. And he comes out, and we get Bobby Roode versus Rusev for the U.S. title. Ryan Tran is your referee. It was a good match. It was a good back and forth. It was a little underwhelming because you didn't think Rusev was going to win anyway. He didn't. But there was no real drama to it because we were like, they just gave this title to Bobby. They're going to push Bobby. They're not going to put this title on Rusev right now. So although it was a good match back and forth, you kind of knew Bobby was going to pull it out, and he did with a glorious DDT. After the match, the glorious DDT, the 1, 2, 3 for the pin, Bob is facing camera and going to do his wind-up glorious pose. And as he hits the top of it, Randy Orton slithers into the ring and boom, RKO's him into next week. It was beautiful, beautiful. And then he RKO's Aiden, and then he RKO'd Rusev. And Rusev takes the best RKO because he goes head first. He lets his body like move up like this. If you're listening to it, you can't see me, but if you're watching, and he goes head first, man. He just goes bam, bam. It's really brilliant. And then he does the poses, and he's so good, yelling at the crowd, yelling at the audience. You can tell Randy's having a lot of fun running in and doing these RKOs, getting huge pops, and then fucking off back home with his beautiful wife. Anyway, back from that, we go to the backstage where we get Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable doing kind of a Breezango type parody promo where they have a cork board with the Ascension taped on it and Breezango tacked on it and other people, and they're making fun of them, going losers and weirdos and whatever else. And then they destroy it. And they say, we're bringing integrity back to the tag team division. These guys are jokes. The time for jokes is done. And we're doing it next. And I like that. I like that they're doing that, having the workers. They did it last week with the Usos too. Having the workers go, here, this is coming up next. It makes me want to tune in. It was really cool. I dug it. From there, we go to a commercial. And then back from the commercial, we get Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable's entrance, which is cool. I think they need to both be wearing shirts. I think just one of them wearing shirts looks weird, but they're still a great tag team. Really entertaining guys. Really great characters. The Ascension didn't get an intro or anything. They're just standing in the ring ready to get squashed. And I feel bad for those guys because they're great workers. From all the stuff I've seen in the past from them has been really great stuff. All the stuff they do with Breezango is really funny, so it seems like, they're up to do pretty much anything. Their time's kind of over with. Maybe they'll do something and reinvent themselves. I don't know, but Ascension's in the ring, and Rob Zapta is your referee. There was zero drama in this match because no one expected Ascension to go over Chad and Benjamin. So I think that's one of the problems with SmackDown Live is that a lot of their matches, not all of them, but I don't, let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, what was there, 4 matches on SmackDown Live, and at least 3 of them you knew the outcome going in. Even if you're not a smart wrestling fan and you're just watching casually, okay, most likely the champion isn't going to lose to this girl who's been on the main roster for less than 2 months, 3 months. Okay, most likely the guy who won the U.S. title last week or the week before isn't going to lose to Rusev Day, who's kind of a comedy act right now. Excuse me. What was the other match? Oh, this one. Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin against Ascension. With as much as they're pushing Chad and Shelton, you knew that the Ascension wasn't going to win this match. So there's 3 of your matches with very little drama in them and very little give, to be honest with you. So I think that's one of the problems that SmackDown Live is having as opposed to Raw, because Raw, they had the Bar versus Roman and Seth, and that wasn't even the main event, and you didn't know how that was going to turn out. And a lot of their matches, you don't know how they're going to turn out, and I think that's the real contrast between SmackDown Live and Raw is for some reason the booking on SmackDown Live is a little more predictable. I don't know how else to say that. But they have great characters. They, I like everything that they're doing with the people. I just wish the matches themselves were, more drama. Anyways, an astonishing DDT takes out Ruru, and he's done. That was the last match. Now we're on to Shelton. I'm sorry, I got my notes mixed up here. Yeah. So Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable beat the Ascension. They do their double team move and beat those guys. And then we go back to New Day backstage, who's answering more questions from Twitter, which was funny. They asked if you could rank only yourselves in the top 10, who would be number one? And Xavier goes, well, I think it should be the smartest, because he's got a PhD. And Big E goes, I think it should be the strongest, because obviously Big E's the strongest. And then Xavier goes, so you know what that means, don't you? And in unison, they both go, Kofi! And they start listing off Kofi's accomplishments of being Intercontinental Champion and being Tag Team Champion and all of that stuff. It was really cool. And they say, and Xavier says, and in 2018, you're going to win the World Heavyweight Championship, which I don't know why he would say that, but that would be really cool. I would love to see Kofi win the world title before he, shuffles off, because he's getting up there, man. But he still is great. He's still awesome. And Kofi goes, I hope so. And if I'm champ, we're all champ, which would be great. And then we cut to Renee interviewing Sammy near the curtain. I like this. They did it with Becky, I think, last week, where they interview people kind of near gorilla position, right near the curtain that they're about to go out to wrestle. And right before they go out, they get a little interview. And it was really cool. She says, so what's up for tonight? And he says, tonight I step out of Kevin's shadow. He said, I've been in Kevin's shadow for years. He won the U.S. title. He's won all of these titles. And I've always been kind of back here. And tonight I'm finally going to step out of his shadow. And he says, I fought Kevin more than anyone else. So I know that he'll do anything in his power to win. And he'll stop at nothing to headline WrestleMania and become the champ. And then he says, but then again, neither will I. And then this music hits and he steps through the curtain. Very cool. I loved it. And then after that, we get a commercial. And then next week, coming back from the commercial, we get like a still across the screen that says that Ziggs is coming back, Dolph Ziggler, and he's going to be taking on Baron Corbin, because we haven't seen that 8-9 times. So the Baron and the Ziggs next week. I love both of those guys. I just wish they'd give those two guys other men to wrestle, because there's lots of other guys in that locker room other than Dolph Ziggler and Baron Corbin who could wrestle Dolph Ziggler and Baron Corbin. That's just me. I'm looking forward to the match. I think it'll be great. We come back from the commercial and we have AJ Styles sitting at commentary. You know that's going to come into play a little bit later. And he says, I'm looking forward to this match. I want to know who I'm facing at Fastlane so we can just get this over with. Kevin comes out. Sammy's already in the ring, remind you, before the commercial. And we get Kevin versus Sammy, which these guys, again, have fought a lot. We've seen these guys fight a lot. So it was a good match, but it wasn't anything groundbreaking. And it's pretty much the same match you've seen quite a few times, with a little twist here and there. But anyway, Mike Chioda was your referee. I wish it would have been longer. It seemed to be only like a 10-minute match, and I wish it would have been 15, 20 minutes. Maybe it did, and it just seemed a lot shorter to me, which maybe that's a good thing. But anyways, Sammy spills out onto the outside eventually. They go back and forth, and then Sammy spills out onto the outside and kind of gets into AJ's face and starts jawing with AJ, going, you see what's happening? Da, 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 da. And AJ can't take it anymore. I forgot exactly what I AJ tries to turn his chair away, and Sammy grabs him and turns him back and says, "Don't turn away from me," or something like that. And that pisses off AJ, and AJ jumps up, clocks Sammy, and at this point, Kevin had come out of the ring and clocks Kevin too. The bell rings for disqualification because AJ got involved. AJ beats him up both pretty good, and then Daniel Bryan comes out, and while AJ is in the ring, Sammy and Kevin are on the ramp kind of arguing with each other over what just happened. And Daniel Bryan comes out and says, "Hey man, fine. Fastlane is now going to be a triple threat match between Kevin, Sammy, and AJ." Sammy and Kevin are pretty happy about that because now they can team up on AJ again, and AJ's not so happy. I think this is another kind of heely thing to do from Daniel Bryan. He just did this at WrestleMania. It was 2-on-1. It was a tag team match, and now he's got to do it again at Fastlane. I think that sucks. Kayfabe wise. In the real world, it's awesome. It's part of the television show. It's part of the storyline. I totally get it. That's fine. You got to squash this thing before WrestleMania. Pit these two guys against each other. I totally get it. But as far as kayfabe-wise and in the wrestling world, that sucks. AJ should not have to defend his title back-to-back in 2 pay-per-views like that against the same 2 guys. It's bullshit. Anyways, Kevin gives Daniel the thumbs up as he's heading to the back. And that's the end of the show, ending on Daniel Bryan. It was a good show. Not a great show. The ending kind of threw me a little bit just because I can't believe they're really having the main event at Fastlane be the same thing that it was at Royal Rumble almost. Except they have to fight each other, I guess, which will be cool. I like to see those guys beat up on each other. It's always fun. So SmackDown's doing good. It was a good show. It wasn't a great show. It was a good show. I thought last week's show was better. A couple of good matches, but like I said, most of all, you just know what's going to happen. You know certain people are going to win. Certain people aren't going to drop championships to, Liv Morgan. I'm sorry that Charlotte was not dropping her championship to Liv Morgan, so there was really no reason to kind of watch that match. Watch the highlights on the YouTube show. Anyways, but doing good. Still not up to par with Raw yet. Raw is still crushing every week. Raw, especially like the last month and a half, 2 months, Raw has been just fantastic, barring the Raw 25, which was good. It wasn't great, but take that out of it. The episodic stuff has been absolutely fantastic, and SmackDown's getting there. They just, they need to work on their matches, having some drama and having some, hey, I don't know who's going to take this match. And overall, it was a great show. Looking forward to seeing what they do next week. And the Cruiserweight Championship tournament took place after this on 205 Live. I'll talk a little bit about that. 205 Live was doing good stuff. Rockstar Spud, Drake Maverick, is doing absolutely wonderful stuff. That guy is fantastic on camera. He looks like $1 million. He talks like $1 million. He is absolutely exactly what that show needs, and it makes me tune in. I watched 205 Live from beginning to end for the first time in a while last night just because of Drake Maverick and the things that he was going to do. The Lince Dorado and Kalisto match was awesome. It's the first time I've really liked either of those. I mean, I've liked them, but this is the first time I really went, wow, man, these guys are really good together, because they were doing the lucha thing and everything. It was a great match. The match a little later on between Roderick Strong and, oh Christ, who was it? Hideo Itami. A little less. I'm not a fan of either of those guys' style. I don't like squat, short men wrestling for some reason. I've just never been a big fan of it. So I'm not a fan of Roderick Strong, and I'm not a big fan of Hideo Itami either. Maybe that's why the match didn't do anything for me, but it just seemed boring. It seemed to just drag and drag and drag and drag and drag. Could be just me and my style of wrestling that I prefer. I'm not putting judgment on those guys. They're both great workers, and I hope they get all the money in the world that they want. But for me, it just dragged on and on. But Roderick Strong picked up the victory to move on in the Cruiserweight tournament, and Kalisto picked up the victory against Lince Dorado to move on in the Cruiserweight tournament. And like I said, Rockstar Spud, Drake Maverick is doing phenomenal work over there. Watch 205 Live. I'm telling you, it's good stuff. Once we get some more characters back, maybe after the championship is decided, maybe I'll do a show on 205 Live or just add it to SmackDown here a little bit. But other than that, it was a great week of wrestling so far. We got NXT happening tonight. I don't know any of the matches, so I'm looking forward to being surprised by everything that happens. If you want to follow me, you can do so on Twitter at Calling Spots Pod. If you want to on Facebook, it's Calling Spots Podcast. On Instagram, Calling Spots Podcast. Or you can email me at callingspotspodcast@gmail.com. My name is Bryan Kelly. This has been Calling Spots with Bryan Kelly. I'll see you guys tomorrow for NXT. Peace.